on this computer. Okay, again, good day class. So today is the week 2 and day 1, and actually, we're going gradually from basic, getting into like core main DevOps tools that we have to learn in this class. And again, my focus is, what you need. There are so many things, to learn. I wouldn't, overwhelm, because it's overwhelming already. Even people we that are working in the field, we still learn stuff every day. I'm still learning Kubernetes right now, trying to get certification, and it's there's something about the field, it's very broad, but I'm trying to, just make sure it's something that we need, especially getting started, for job, for interview. Main thing is passing through the interview stage, because again, it's they will drill you, they will ask you random question you don't expect, you may be thinking, okay, they will ask question in this direction, they will just come out in another direction. So, but there are some things that are very common, and very like they always like Git, you hardly take interview, they will ask you about Git, what you know about Git, and then have you worked with Git and stuff like that. So today that will be the our topic. So we'll be working on and this is the agenda again. We're just going to talk briefly on our last class. Again, last class we did IP addresses, port number and stuff like that. So we talk about source code management, which is Git. We talk about Git commands, version control tool, continuous integration, and this introduction to scripting, I actually kind of left it out at the during Linux class. We're supposed to take this, but I'll briefly just let what this is about. Scripting, it's a very common term you hear in DevOps, in cloud. So I'll briefly talk about scripting. Then during lab as well, I will show you how scripting works. And some of the options, and I've had a lot of questions like, okay, is there coding in DevOps or this thing? I would say yes and no, because they call it we use it as like scripting. They call it scripting, and some of the language they use in scripting that are very common are shell scripting, which are like the Linux stuff we did the other time. Although deeper than that, you can use like if statements, all those variables, all those a lot of stuff, in shell scripting. So, but I will show you just a very simple script that I put together, and then how it works and how to execute it. That's how to run it. So so I will just talk briefly on that. It's not part of today's agenda, but I figured that it's very important for you guys to understand scripting. And at some point I'm thinking maybe I can get a Python developer to, but I don't want that to be early in the class, maybe later on, because most job you will see, they want you to know at least one scripting language. So, if you tell them that, okay, so during the interview, you tell them that they will ask you that, okay, what scripting language do you know? You say, okay, I know Python, or I know Shell, which is Bash, which is more like those one that we've been working on, like all those LS, CD, and all those stuff. Those are Shell language. So, if you tell them you know that, they will throw you question on that. So, it's always good. Again, you can not too compulsory like that, but it's in most cases you may need one of the scripting language, at least one, and the easiest to me is Python. I'm not a Python expert to but I can do some Python scripting, just basic and stuff like that. Do some things. Python is very popular and it's easier compared to other language. So basically Python is used to write script, to do scripting, to write the application, the program, the software itself is the work of developer. You don't have to worry about that. It's the work of developer to write, application code, which is the main thing. It's the work of developer. But scripting, they expect a DevOps guy, a cloud guy to know, at least a scripting language like Python or Shell. So Shell is a little bit distant to me. I still prefer Python in most cases, but I will show like one demo on that also during the lab. So this will be our agenda today, guys. Oh, I don't know. So again, last class we did IP addresses. We talked about public IP and private IP addresses, what IP addresses is, how it allows you to identify a device, on your network, like your computer device, like your, anything. It could be your printer, your server, anything, the IP address and the port number. IP address linked together with the port number, we allow you to access a specific application. And the last class we showed that as well when we install the web application on the Ubuntu server, and we were able to access it from port 80. So, and we did also we use security group on AWS, which is like a firewall that allow you to like block certain traffic, accept certain port number, because again, port number is it's one of the way attacker use to like, attack a server. If your port number is open, like the one we did last week, we open port 80 to everybody to 0.0.0.0/0, which is anybody on the internet can access it. So as a best practices and this thing, you don't want to do that. I mean, if it's your web application, you want everybody in the world to see it, of course you can do that. But there are some application running on your server, on your computer. You don't want, you only want people within your organization to have access to it. You don't want any external people to have access to it. So security group will allow you to do that. You can say that, okay, no, this port number, I only want to open it to these people, and that's it. So security group is very powerful, guys. When you are learning more on your AWS, you learn deep, learn more on security group. And then also we did some Linux command. We use Vim to edit code, all those ls, pwd, cd, all those things. Guys, again, this takes practice, 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 practice. Then we install Apache server on Ubuntu. We access it via the IP address and the port 80. So this is a recap of what we did during the last class. Okay, ignore this. Actually, I just put this. This will be, we do software development lifecycle next week, and we talk more on CI/CD. I'm sure some of you have been hearing of CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous development, what it's all about, because that is like the core DevOps. Like most DevOps, they want you have to know, CI/CD and stuff like that. So so it's very important, CI/CD, will be, today we do some basic continuous integration, what it is, and stuff like that. So but next week we keep going deeper into, all those tools and what they are, how they use them, some of the common tools like Jenkins, like Tomcat, Apache Tomcat, Maven, and a lot of them. So just this doesn't really, this should be next week's slide. So today, source code management, basically it's a software tool used by programmer to manage a source code. Basically, all this application you see, like any application, your mobile app, on your, like your bank application you have on your phone, or anything like Zoom that you use, they are made up of thousands of line of code.
Please, are you recording?
Yes, I'm recording.
Okay, so thank you.
Yeah, so these applications are made up by thousands of made up of thousands of lines of code, every day. They write code every day. So obviously, there's not someone that sat down, write all this code. So this code are written by a lot of developers. Again, those are not your job as a DevOps guys, but you need to understand the environment. You are working with those guys. You are providing those environments. And again, like I mentioned before, talking about all the scripting, in most organization, if you write your Python script, maybe you're able to, or maybe just a share script, everything they put it in version control in source code management software, which we're going to talk about. So it's kind of like again, back to my analogy about writing code, thousands of lines of code. These are written by a lot of developers, maybe 20 of them, it could be more than that, 100 developers, working on those applications, everything. So they have like a centralized place, where they manage all this code, which is the source code management tool. There are a lot of those tools, and the GitHub I ask you to sign up to is one of the most common software that you see out there, or service that you see out there for source code management. It allows you to collaborate. It allows developer to collaborate. What happens is that if this one writes maybe 10 line of code, they will push it to that central location. The other developer will write their own. They keep, it's a little bit more advanced than that, but that is just like the high level summary of how source code management works. It's just a central place where, all those developers put all their code. Okay. GitHub background is done successfully. Okay. Yeah. So it's one of, that place that, developer put all their code and, every time, they commit, we call it commit, we push it. Today, we're going to show, how to do this. We're just going to have a simple code that we use, then we push it to that GitHub. Then, you can invite your friend to it. I will show you my GitHub account. You see how many stuff I have there. It's when we start working on like Terraform and all those stuff, those are like, they are not like code like that, they are like, kind of like script, or it's different from coding, but they are still like a how will I put it, more like a programming kind of stuff. So you ask this thing to do this and stuff like that. And they are nothing like real writing software code. It's completely different. But version control is this source code management is also called version control system in most cases. And it's very key in DevOps, in cloud, and software world. It's a very important tool. And again, this is a version control software. It's the same thing as this source code management or version control, depending on how you use it. As you can see on the left, on the right here, again, it says version control software helps manage changes to software code, source code over time. So, again, those code, and again, it's not like they will write all the code and everybody will just put their hand and just be watching. Those code, like maybe a Facebook code, is something they've written like maybe since they started Facebook, of course, they keep improving it every day. All the software, if you check how many software engineers are working in those communities, there are a lot of them. So every day they keep improving it, adding features to it, different things. That's why when you just log into your Facebook, you see another new stuff, different things. So these are code they keep writing every time. And so this version control software allow developer to manage those changes. You push things, you know that this is the developer that puts this change there. So it's give very good management kind of help to the developer. And it allowed them to monitor the changes. Okay, this is the person that make these changes, this is the person that push it, this is the current state. You can do versioning. You can say, okay, this is the version. And sometimes you see your some of your app, they say that, okay, there's a new version 2 point, this things are available. These are gotten from all these version control tools. they can say that, okay, this version, then when they add another features, they call it another version. So meaning that they add maybe some line of code again, they add like 20 lines of code, they will do the whole process again and they call it another version. It's very powerful. As you can see on the right here, the diagram, you will be working, you have a working copy. This is the repository, which I will show again. And again, this is a distributed version control. This is what they call, which is Git, is a distributed version control. There's other type, which is centralized, which is not common. Most organizations use distributed. And this one, this repository you see here, it's, we're going to talk about repository in the few slides from now. But this is just like a storage where they store the code. We are going to create a repository in this class in our GitHub account. Then we're going to write some code, push it into that repository. So you see this person, like this developer here now, it can pull the, they have the main code in this repository, which is like a storage. So each of the developer, maybe they have three, PC1, PC2, and PC3 or workstation. So each of them can pull a copy of it that, okay, I want a copy of this code, I want a copy of this code, and they'll be working on it independently. This one can make changes on it, push it back to the central place. Then this can make its own change, push it back. Sometimes there are some conflicts that can happen, especially when there are too many people. This one make change, put it back, but the one that this one is working on is a little bit different. So, it can be a little bit messy sometimes if you're working in a very large group, but there are ways to, resolve all those conflicts and do stuff, but that's not really important now. Just understand what version control software does. Again, you will get better, clearer picture when we get to the lab session, and we show it. So what are the benefits of version control? First is allow multiple people can work, multiple people can work simultaneously on a single project. Just like I said, you have this project, lots of developers will be working on it. It's not a work of a single developer. So it's enable one person to use multiple computer to work on a project. So you can log in on any computer. It doesn't have to be on your computer, and just clone it. We call it git clone. Just clone the repository. Then it's like you downloading the copy of the main software, of the main code, into your local computer. You can make change, then put it back there. It doesn't matter. Version control provide access to the historical version of a code, which is very, very key. Very key. They want to know, okay, for example, in I think a place like Google, they say in a day, their developer commits code to commit their code maybe more than 10,000 times in a day. Like, they make changes in a day. So there's a way to like track it, that, okay, what does this person who make these changes, like, okay, for example, maybe they want to, there's a problem, someone puts a wrong code, a code that kind of not good, push it to the central place. You can check the history and revert back to the previous version. That, okay, no, this is the point where this thing starts messing up. So it's allow developers, or not just developer, everybody, to track what everyone is doing. Again, by the time we get to like Terraform, we are writing Terraform script. You see, in the real world, you'll be writing it with your other developer, other DevOps guys. You'll be writing all those Terraform scripts with other people. So most organizations, they put it in the GitHub, in the version control software, so that they can track it. You can know that, okay, this is the guy that make these changes. You are the one that make these changes. This is the change you make. They can see, they can compare everything. They can see the current state of the code, and what you added, everything. So it's very, very important, like very, very key. It's also enhance the project's development speed, better collaboration again. Then the last one says it informs us about who, what, when, and why changes have been made. So it gives you like, okay, who made these changes? What does this person change? What does it change? Does the person add a few lines of code, or maybe he changed something from the original code? You just remove a line and just edit something. With version control system, you will know all those things, which is very, very key again, because these things are very, it's a collaborative work. It's done by a lot of people. You want to make sure that you have control over what everyone is doing, and all those stuff. So it's very powerful and it's very useful. So again, common version control tools, on GitHub, there's a Bitbucket, there's GitLab, there's AWS code commits, which is on AWS. There's Gerrit. I've never even used that. There's Azure repo, for Azure folks. So, but I will tell you, even people that works on AWS, they don't use AWS code commits. I mean, there will be people that use it, but it's very few. So, and that's why, all those, when you are learning cloud, they will only teach you code commit. They won't teach you how to use Bitbucket and GitHub. And I can tell you, from experience, and if you won't do your research, GitHub and Bitbucket are the most common version control tool they use out there. GitHub is very common, very common. Bitbucket is very common. So, these two are like the top. So again, you don't need to, they basically work almost the same way. They use Git, the same command, which we are going to check, the same command that all of them, kind of use, because they all use Git, all of them. So, there's GitLab, also Azure repo for Azure, there'll be a lot of them. There's a lot of them, definitely. But again, you don't need to stress yourself. Know one, then you are good. Know how to work with one of them, you are good. Mostly they are very similar. So, and again, we'll be going with GitHub in this class. We'll be using it throughout, the DevOps project that I'll be working on. All our code will be on GitHub, and we push code. You see how things is done in from a DevOps perspective. So, but yeah, so these are some of the popular ones that I was able to find. So yeah, some of the terminologies, you see a master branch, this is a default branch. Once you create your GitHub, you see that branch. So yeah, it's just the default and the first branch in the Git. So they call it master. In the GitHub, they call it master. Now GitHub is trying to use main because of all this racial whatever. So, but it used to be master, but now you see main too sometimes. But and that is the main branch. And once I will show you what a branch is. You may not really understand it theoretically, but when we get to the lab session, and you see what a branch is, what a master branch is, how you can create another branch and stuff like that. So there's a commit, the action of storing a new snapshot of a project in the Git history. So, whenever you write the code, you want to like push it back, you use Git commit. So the commit will kind of like take a snapshot of the current state of the project and put it in the history before you do Git push. Git push will just throw it to the stuff. Then a branch is a line of development. There are different branch. Again, there's like master branch. You can create a branch of your own and call it any name, like, okay, development branch. And again, don't bother too much about branching. It's another like kind of level of tutorial on its own. So there's pool. We'll not really be dealing with, we only be sticking with with master branch in this class. Most of our code we push it to master branch, and that's it. So pool also, pool will allow you to like fetch, you can say git pull, then it will take all the copy of the code that is on GitHub. It will put it on your computer, on your local computer. If you have Git installed on your computer, you can do it on your computer. It will work. You see the copy of that code right there. So Git push will allow you to take the code. Maybe you make your changes after you do Git pull. You make your changes in the code. You add few lines you want to add. Then you do Git push. Although there are still some command you run before Git push. The Git push will take that code you change take it to the remote repository, which is like a GitHub, in this case. So we push it there. Again, we'll be using all these things today, all this command and then repository, it's like this, it's like a virtual storage where you store the project. That's the first thing we're going to do. You guys will create like a repository on a GitHub, and that's where you store your code. So you can name it anything, my repository, my first repository, then, you can put a code there and whatever, merge also, to bring the content of another branch. So merge, basically they use it in branching as well. It allow you to merge from maybe different branches and stuff like that. We not really be dealing with merge. Then pull requests, it's kind of a bit like a small topic on its own. Pull requests, what it does is that there's some strategy of which is a GitHub. They say GitHub specific term. It's basically like, okay, maybe this developer, I've worked with a company, the first company I work with, they use Git pull request. It's more like a practice whereby, for before any developer could like put their code back to the master branch. For example, they make changes, they must first create a pull request. A pull request will allow other developer to like check their code and see what they're about to merge, because they don't want you to just write stupid code. And because what happens is that if a developer mess up a code and just put it back there, it can like it can bring down the whole application completely. So pull request, once if the developer create pull request, is like asking for a review, that okay, I want someone to review my code before I put it back, before I merge it to the master branch. Yeah, again, you may not kind of understand the clearer picture, but it's basically, that's just how it works. Just you kind of like creating like a request that, okay, can someone check my code before I put it back there. So is very key. Like I've had few interviews that ask for, okay, what do you understand by pull requests and stuff like that. They use it in most organizations. Once you create it, it will just notify the team. Maybe it will notify like senior developer that, okay, this person is trying to has made these changes and is trying to put it back in the distance. Can you review it? So once the person review it, then he will accept it. That's when the code can be pushed to the master. So if the person find that there's some error in the code, they have to like, give you, ask you to work on it again. So, again, so we'll be using some command. There are a lot of Git command, a lot, but in this class, we only going to use maybe 5 of all these, because some of them are not too, depending on how large the project is or whatever. But, some, those are very common, Git init, example, if you are working on your computer, you create a folder, you want that folder to have a Git, to have like a Git, how will I put it, like a Git, for Git to be able to track that folder that you created, you have to use Git init. Well, I don't think we're gonna use that in this class actually so far, but you can use Git init, then it will create a .git file in that particular folder. Then Git will be able to track it. You can run any Git command, Git whatever, everything will work. Git clone is very, very, very key. Git clone will allow you, we're going to use Git clone this night. We allow you to like download a copy of your Git, of the code. Maybe you have a code in your this thing. I will show Git, I will show how that works to, Git clone. It's just like the name, it clone the repository, get you a copy of that code that's in the GitHub. You will bring it on your computer, then you can make changes on that. You can do whatever, add, remove, change anything, then push it back. So Git clone is very powerful. Then Git add also, yeah, we're going to use this. It will add it to the staging environment. After you do git clone, you make your changes, you use git add, dots, then it will kind of stage it before you now run the next one, which is git commit. Then you put a message there. Again, we're going to show this. It's better, you understand better once we get to the lab session. Then git pull as well. Git pull kind of work like git clone, but git pull also allow you to fetch like updated version of the code. Maybe for example, you use git clone and you download that code, and maybe some of your one of your colleague already make changes on the original, the one in GitHub, originally. So if you run git pull, it will just update any change that's in the GitHub. It will update it on your computer straight up. So git pull is very, very useful. So then git push, just like the name, it will push all the changes you made to the GitHub, which is a remote repository in this case. So again, we are going to create a repository on GitHub. You see how that looks like. So then git branch to create a new branch. Git checkout also, they use it to switch between branches. So those are some of the basic command. Then continuous integration. I'm sure some of you will have been hearing CI/CD. One part of this CI/CD is CI, which is continuous integration. The other one is the CD, which is continuous deployment or continuous delivery, depending on the use case. We are not really going much into CI/CD today, but next class we're going fully into CI/CD. Then but again, CI, what it basically means is continuous integration. Is a development practice where developers integrate code into a shared repository frequently, like every day. And that is a DevOps practice. DevOps, encourage or promote that developers should be making changes every day. It's not like before, the way they used to run software, they will just wait. They will be writing the code, they will just be writing it until they finish, before they do everything, before they do the testing, before they build it, before they do everything. But with DevOps is telling, it's kind of like a practice, which is the continuous integration that tells developer to like commit their code every day. If you make 2 lines of change, push it back there immediately. So companies that big companies that do that, they do thousands of this thing every day, changes every day to the code, push it there. So and that's where DevOps comes up, because like having the code alone, there are lots to do with it. You do testing, as you can see in this small circle. Again, this is the developer here. If you look at this diagram, this is the source code. It could be like GitHub. So what happened is that once they push their code to this GitHub, automatically, the code we build, we test, we run a test, we do analysis, report, or whatever. Then it will go to release phase. Then the cycle will keep going like that. Another developer put any change, they don't need to wait till the end of the month before they now put one big change to the code. No, small change, it will build, test, report. Because what happens is that the code alone, it's not the code they write alone doesn't just bring the application to life. There are stages the code will go through before it becomes something you see on your phone, like this thing. One of them is building it. There are things, again, we are going to work with Maven, which is a very popular building tool. There are different building tools depending on the language the developer are using. So, you can, if they write the code, just, garbage of line of code, they will have to build it, package it, test it, make sure that everything is working before they release it, do some other things. Matter of fact, depending on the requirement of the company, but at least they have to do all these things, building, testing, report. So if there's error in the code, immediately it will notify the developer that, okay, this thing doesn't work. So, and this is continuous integration in high level, just practice where, developer have to like commit their code every day, every time, several times. They encourage it several times per day. Any change you make on the application, commit it. And DevOps, as a DevOps engineer, you be building all these tools, like you like integrate everything. And this is more like a pipeline, although this is not the complete pipeline, but this is more like a pipeline. You see the source code, which is like a GitHub. This build can be like a Maven. This testing can be any other testing tools, whatever it could be. It could be like just a command line. Then this report could be any tools. So this thing can be built inside one single application, and that's where we talk about this Jenkins and stuff like that, which we'll be talking more on that. Jenkins can have all these things together, everything. We're going to link our GitHub with Jenkins. You see how it works. When we make a change in our code, you see how Jenkins will automatically know that someone has made a change in the code. Then Jenkins will run all the build, the test, then it will do all the process automatically. And that's the work of the DevOps there. DevOps will be the one to provision those Jenkins, integrate it with GitHub, integrate it with any other tools. You can integrate it with Slack channel, Slack, or maybe any notification channel that, okay, if there's error in the code, notify the developer immediately. You can build, pipeline like that in Jenkins to do everything. And those are the projects we'll be working on. But this is just the high level of, continuous integration. Again, it's just like the name, continuous integration. Just keep, merging the code, putting the code into the source code every day, developer to the source code management, GitHub here, and this will be integrated with other things that will trigger this cycle that you are seeing. Then, and this continuous integration. The other part is continuous deployment or continuous delivery, depending on the case. So this CI, high level. Next class we talk a bit more on CI/CD in depth, and some of the tools. Again, for continuous integration, Jenkins is very popular. There's a lot of tools you can use for that. You can use Bamboo. We are using Jenkins, and again, you don't have to worry about any other tools. Just learn one, and you are good. So because they basically work in the same pattern. So what is scripting? Like I said the other time, this a little bit deviation from this version control we're talking about. But scripting is something we should understand. Scripting or script language is a programming language for a runtime system that automate the execution of tasks that would otherwise be performed individually by a human operator. So for a DevOps guys, this thing, automation is one of the key thing in DevOps. They like automation. What that means is that, something that should be done manually, like, okay, every day, every day someone should, you have to do something every day. Those are automation, and you, as a DevOps, you have to know those scripting language to do all those things. Just it could just be a language. Mostly it could be in Python, or maybe it could be Shell or Bash scripting, which are some of the, like the Linux command kind of, those are shell command. You can do all those ls, all those whatever. I have a small shell script which I will show, and you see how scripting works. You just have to launch the scripting, the code. You just have to launch it, and everything will automatically execute. So it's very cool, and it's very important. You can look into learning more on maybe Python or Shell, and it's most job they want you to know at least one scripting language. The, again, so I think this is the end of talking. Let's get our hands dirty. So before that, anybody with any questions so far? Any question, anything to add, to subtract? That means this is very easy for everyone. Okay, sounds good then. I'm happy that everyone understand Git. Yeah, but again, don't when we get to the lab session now, we're going to do a lot of lab on Git. It's I believe most of us already have our GitHub running, GitHub account set up. So yeah. So let me share my screen again, and I'm on my AWS. Let me see. Okay. Mm, where's my terminal? Hold on. Oh, sorry, guys. I'm trying to see my terminal. Okay.
Are we going to work in AWS?
Yeah. We're going to work on AWS. We're going to work on AWS just to
Okay.
make sure. Because what happened is that it's still kind of easier, and although we can use, we can use basic this thing. I just want us to use AWS. You can use especially your Git bash. Your Git bash automatically come with Git, so you don't really need to do anything like that. But if you are working on your terminal, your distant terminal, or maybe other, you will need to install Git. It's just a two-line command to install it. But on AWS as well, by default, you have access to what's it called? You have access to Git by default. AWS, all the EC2s, all the all their EC2 comes with Git installed, so you don't have to do that manually. So yeah, so that's just the only. So let me share my screen. Okay. Okay. So can you guys see my screen now? Let me exit this. So let's go to, okay, can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, thank you. So this is my AWS account again. Just for understanding sake, I'm going to provision, a new server just for, some of us that are still, just go to launch instance wherever you are. You see, once you go to EC2, anywhere, you see launch instance, just click on it. It takes few seconds to do that. Again, we can use any this thing. We can use Amazon Linux or whatever. Matter of fact, we can use that. Let's use AWS Amazon Linux. So let me
Uh,
see.
can I work with the Ubuntu one we created or create
Yeah,
our?
yeah, yeah. You can work with. Okay, let's just work with just to keep it simple. Let's work with. Let's just work with Ubuntu. Ubuntu. There could be anyone. It doesn't. Yeah, they work the same way. You know, so I'm leaving everything as default here. The storage too, I'm leaving it as default. The tag.
Please, you are too fast than me. I'm just trying to catch along with you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's not. I'm just next. The main thing is select the operating system you want. You scroll down. Once you get to that, after the launch instance, yeah, after the distance, then make sure you are on free eligible. Make sure you select the one with the free tier eligible, that green icon there.
Sorry, large instance, okay. Free eligible.
Yeah, T2 micro, and then just next it. The next one, next it, and then the next one.
I'm trying to look for the free one there.
Yeah, you say free one, free eligible. And again, I don't know on this computer if I have my keep here, because this is not the computer I used the last time. Let me see, download. I don't think I have. Okay, I have one keep here. Okay. think I have one KPI. Are you
Okay,
good?
free tier eligible. Okay, I
Mm.
saw that one. Is it about so the 1804?
Yeah, you can put a 10 or 20. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay, okay. So is any? I just click next.
Yeah, just click next. Because we're not really, even security group, you can leave it as default. Because we're not really trying to access anything from, just make sure port 22 is open. Again, from here, you can you can you can add rules here. For example, like that last week, at this point, you can say, okay, add rule, add another rule. Say that, okay, this one is HTTP, automatically it would give you port 80, because that's default. And then, maybe this one, you're trying to open it to HTTPS, which is 443. Where is it? This HTTPS, yeah. HTTPS should be there. Maybe you're just trying to open it to DNS server somewhere, um, you know, or MySQL or whatever you're trying to open it. Or you can just leave it as default custom, then you pick any port you want to open here. 443, it's for HTTPS. Then here you tell it that, okay, anywhere. So it will give you the equivalent IP address. It's easier this way. you know so this one is just saying that port 443 is open to anybody. Description is optional. So then here you can name it anything. New security group. I have a lot of security group already. So, or if you have some one that you want to use, you can just select. I have a few of them set up. I think this is the one we used last class. So I can just click this. But you can leave that for default, Eddie. Just leave everything
Okay,
default and then launch. Then you need to, I don't know if you have a key pair already, but you need to download a key pair. I think I need to create a name keep here. Let me create a name.
please, can I just go with you, flow with you in creating the new KPI?
Yeah, just create a new keep here. Sorry guys, because most of them I'm sure they already passed through this stage, Eddie. No.
I'm sorry, new
Mm.
KPI.
Yeah, that's why I say you should try and connect with me personally so that we can go over at this time.
Okay.
But yeah, just give it any name, it doesn't matter. Don't mind the name I give. I'm just trying to make it unique. So create it, download it. If you have it before, just select it. I think I used other computers before. That's why I want to do it again. And and I downloaded it on that computer. So I'm going to download key right now. Then I will click on launch instance. So let's view my instance. So I can name it from here. If you don't want to, you can name it here just to make it different. Git, let's say Git server or whatever. I don't know why does it disappear. Git. Oh, I don't know. So whatever, but you can name it from here and everything. But the point is this server is up and running now. So I will try and connect with it with my sure. With my do I have a Git bash here? Oh shit, I don't have Git bash here. So I'm going to connect with it. Let me see. If I click connect now, I'm trying to see if I can connect directly on the terminal. Okay, I'm going to connect it directly from my terminal. Okay, can you guys see my screen now? I mean, you can connect with a Git bash or anything, but I'm just, because I noticed I don't have Git bash on this computer now, although I have item also, which I can use. So I don't know, can you guys see my item? Where's BB?
You connected directly now, Abi?
Yeah, I connected directly just from the, you see how I did that?
Yeah, no.
Okay. Yeah, you can connect, but again, this one with time, it times out easily, and sometimes I
Oh,
don't like
okay.
it. Yeah, so we are there now. Oh, my distance is low. So I believe most of us have our GitHub account set up. So I'm going to go to my GitHub right now. So let me see GitHub setup. Okay. I'm going to sign in. I'm already signed into my account, matter of fact. So as you can see, this is my GitHub. Is yours may not look clean may not look dirty like this. So I have a lot going on there. But this is my GitHub account. Basically, I recently worked on this project. You see all those code, everything. So this is how typical GitHub account looks like. This is a node a JavaScript application. I didn't write all this thing, so don't don't think so I'm not a developer. So, but I wrote some of them like this Jenkins file. This I work with this application to run a pipeline. It was part of a project I did at my job. So yeah, so I wrote some of all these things, this like a Kubernetes. Again, you see different kind of application there, code, different ones depending on, this is a Node.js, this YAML. We'll be working with YAML file in this class. Let me just show you how YAML looks like. It's easier to read. It may not be as complicated as this, but it's just more like a key and value pair kind of language. But this is how YAML looks like. They call it YAML. So you say this is the name, kind, this is the kind, metadata. You just have to know the syntax and stuff like that. It's nothing hard. It's something you can read and understand the syntax. Again, we are not going to do this thing. So what I want you to do, again, your this thing will look different, but you will see a plus sign to the right, top right here. You see a plus sign, click on it, then you see a new repository. Click on new repository, and that's where you create a new repository. Hold on, let me charge my phone. Let me charge my laptop. Yeah, so you will see this, this plus sign on your GitHub, and again, that's why I want everyone to use in GitHub so that we can be on the same page. So you click on it, new repository. So you give it a name, so it will tell you this username, you have to remember it, guys, it's very important. You have to know your username, the one you use to sign up when you sign up on GitHub. So this is it. This is my own Kenku23 for my account. So, I can give it like, say, okay, let me say, Git class, I don't know, I'm not creative with naming, but you can give it any name. You can say your might 123, or you can say your might repo, something repo. It's okay, because it means repository, and again, this is where, our code will stay. If you see okay, so if you just give it any name you choose, whatever, leave everything as default, make it public. Mine, if you are working in a company, of course, they don't want to make it public. They don't want their code to be accessible anyway. But you see my code now, if I give you the link, you can access it, although you can't make any changes to my code unless I give you access. But you can view it, you can download it, you can download all this thing I showed you, you can download it on your computer and do anything there. So and that's why it's public. A lot of this thing are public. You can still code online from GitHub and stuff like that. So this is public, leave it as public, scroll down, leave everything. You don't really need readme file, probably not, leave everything as default and just click create repository. So this should create our repository, which will be named git.clash. So you see, first thing it tells you to do that, okay, or creating, okay, this is how to create it in a command line. So it's telling you to do git remote add this command origin, then git branch, whatever. We don't really care about this code. We're going to run it on ourselves. But one thing I just want you guys to see is, this repository you see on the top here, this is the name of the repository, git clash. So if I go back to my, let me just go back home now. You see how many repository I have. If I go to repository, I have 27 of them. Wow. I don't know, I have so much repository like this. So I have 27 repository, different type, different names, a lot of them. Each of them have separate, depending on the project you are working on. For example, you say I call this Terraform Lab. I don't know what I even put there. I call this simple DevOps project. I call this demo repo. Different. I think this is even empty. I don't know. Maybe I will try and delete some of them. So you can name it anything depending on, like, you are working on different projects. In organization, they have different things they work on. Like, okay, these people, this team, there are teams that are working on user interface, on how the user will see it. They will have a separate repo. As a DevOps team, you will have your different repo where you save your whatever you are doing. So, repository are just like that, more like a folder. That's how I see it, where, you create it, you say you can have a lot of them. I'm sure this will have limits because this is a free this thing, but you can, again, you see, for you, I think you should only have one repository at this point. And if I click on it, you see that it's empty. Literally, there's nothing there. If I click on these other ones, let me click on this front end, for example, you see there are a lot of things there. Once we start having code in our repository, this is how it will look like. This is what you see in the repository. And these are the branch I was talking about, the main branch. I can create another branch, call it, this is another one I created. So again, branch is not something we're really going to deal with much. So we're just going to work with the main branch or master branch. I don't know, depending on how you see it. So again, yeah, this is the new repository I created again. If you click on this repository, this, and it's empty. Forget all these things they wrote there. These are just instruction on how you can do this thing. So this repository is clean, it's empty. So what we are going to do now is we are going to clone it. We're going to clone it on our computer, on the EC2 that's running. Then we are going to put a code there. Then we push that code right here, and we see if things will work. So I'll go back to my EC2. I hope this thing is not, yeah, this is why I don't really use this guy. It's kind of gone now. Let me close it and just reopen and just, yeah, it's kind of like timeout if you don't really work on the terminal, if you are using it this way. So it's a faster way to just connect to your, yeah. So, I don't have anything right here now. Okay. Let's say, so nothing is inside this. This like a computer, of course. We talk about server, so it's like a computer. So I'm just going to create a file and call it touch. Again, remember how we create a file, touch, the name of the file you want to create. So I can say touch hello.sh because I want to show you how scripts work as well. I want to run both together. So what we are going to do now is we're going to create this file. Then we're going to put a small script there. Then we are going to push it to GitHub. Then you see how everything works. Then I will run the script so you see how script works and what it does. So now I create this file. If I use ls now, it show me that I have a file called hello.sh. I hope everyone can see my screen. So I have hello.sh. This, of course, if I use cat, I hope you guys remember some of this command. Cat will just list the content of we just give you the content of the file. I just created this one. Obviously, there's nothing there, absolutely nothing there. So I have a script somewhere which we briefly just use. So let me use Vim. You remember Vim, I'm just trying to use all this command for you guys to see the application. So I want to put something in this file, I want to, write something in this file, you understand? And I want it to be a script. So, so I'm not going to be writing the script one by one. I actually wrote it somewhere, which it's originally written, but it's just a small script, actually, nothing serious. So I'm going to explain the script, what it does, and when we run it too, you see what the script does. It does all those basic stuff we did the other time. So if I just paste this here now, oh sure, let me exit here. Oh, sure. I don't know what's going on. Scripting code is oh, okay. I don't think this thing copied. Okay, let me escape. Okay, I don't think my stuff is copied. Hold on. Yeah, so I guess I'm just trying to get I will send it in the comment section as well for you guys to see. It's just a 5-line of script which I put somewhere. Yeah, I'm trying to. Okay. So that way we're going to work with scripts, then at the same time we're going to work with Git at the same time. So that will give you clearer picture of how everything works together. Okay, I think I have it now. Echo, okay. Again, there's nothing. Scripting will be more than this in real life. This is just a very basic script. This thing doesn't copy where. What is going on? Sleep. LAS, LA. I don't know. Okay. Okay. I think I'll just so if I do, I think I just bin bash. I think I'll just do this. Okay, now it's yeah, bin bash. So I think it's hash. Okay. So so basically, these are some of the commands that we guys work with and the other class. Yeah. I don't know why they copied and paste was not. Again, this is a very basic, but this is what they call script. As you can see, these are just the command line that we enter the other, like this LSLA, that I used to run, the LSLA, we just list all the content. Then echo just means hello, and it just means print. Here I'm saying hello world, but instead of us running all this command one by one, in scripting, you'll be able to execute everything at once. You can just run it once and everything will run line by line. Instead of you to enter echo hello world, enter another line again, press enter. It doesn't, with scripting takes that out. It allows you to do a lot of things. I mean, scripting can be up to like 100 lines or even more than that, 50 lines. It could do a lot of things that, each time you execute it, it will just perform that specific task you want it to do. Again, the first line, this ls, is just telling it that, okay, list the content. Then after you list the content, print hello world. It's supposed to print hello world on the terminal, then it's supposed to print cleaning directory. Then after that, it will sleep. Sleep means that it will pause. It will kind of like pause for 5 seconds. That's what the sleep 5 means. Then it will clear the screen, this clear command. Then again, it will print that completed. So let's see how this works. I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it now on this. So if I cut this file now, we see this. Again, the first one just means that I want it to run in a bash, to use a bash to run this script. They call this thing, I think shebang, this first line you are saying, this hash, this thing. So whenever you are writing a script, you have to include that. If you are writing like a shell script or a bash scripting, you have to include that, to tell your computer that you run this in a bash. If it's a Python script, you will put pure Python, you specify the Python you are running. You can put like Python or whatever, but they call this shebang. If you look at what the shebang is, let me show you shebang. So let me see shebang definition. No, I don't know. It's not defining shebang in shebang meaning in Linux, or maybe in programming. Okay, in programming. So yeah, you see it starts with hashtag. In computer, a shebang is a character sequence consisting of a character number at the beginning of a script. So you have to put it at the beginning of every script. This small thing is nothing serious. Just have to know what it is. Again, it's just hash, then exclamation, then you specify this part you want to run. Then right now I can, if I try to execute this code, I won't be able to do that. So I have to run this command, So this will give me permission to execute this. Again, if I execute it, normally this is how you execute a script. You put, sorry, hello.sh, you put dot slash, then the name of the script. So if I run it now, it tells me that I don't have permission. So that means I have to have execution permission to run this script. So for that, I will use this command change mode plus X. Plus X means that plus execution. X is just execution. So I'm just adding execution permission. That's okay. Let me execute this script. So if I run this, then I run this command again. Let's see what happened. I hit enter now. Okay. LS invalid. Okay. Invalid option. Okay, let me see. Let me edit this code. Let me see. How do you say invalid option? LS dash. I don't know why. Supposed to run. This is LS. That's LS. Invalid. Should I use shell instead of bash? So, sorry guys, I don't understand. I don't know why it's saying. Was there something before this ls? Let me just use ls alone. Okay. Yeah, it's saying line 7, command not found, sleep. Let me say sleep 5. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . Okay, I don't know why it's not. It's giving this. Say sleep. Or do I need to put it in quotes? Sleep. Let me remove that. So basically what it's doing now is executing this line of code one after the other. So that's why it's telling me that some of them are not executable, which I don't know why, you know. So basically, okay, line 6 is not found again. So cleaning directory. But basically, if you see, once I run this code now, once I click this execute, it prints hello world, which I run by saying, okay, first thing it does was it said ls, which ls basically we just print the this script because this is the only thing I have right here now. So, and this is why you have this and the first line. Then the second line, I tell the script to print hello world. Then the third one, I tell the script to clean it, and it's saying it doesn't see clear. I think this script is somehow, I don't know. Yeah, I will check the script again and see what's going on. But again, this is just how scripting works. You know, normally it's supposed to clean it after. Let me show you the script. Normally it's supposed to, the first one, ls command, you know, which will list the directory, you know. Then the second line, it will echo this. That means it will print hello world, which it did. The next one, it will clean the directory. It will just print the clean directory. Then I'm telling it to clear everything on the screen. So now it's telling me that it can't find this clear command. Then the last one I said print complete. So when I tried this, it worked on my distance. I don't know what happened. I think it's the, I don't know, maybe the syntax. But basically that's it. So now let us go to our GitHub now. We want to put this code, this small script, we want to push it to GitHub, you know. So first thing you do here is that once you come here, you will see this thing there. You have to copy this, whatever it is on your computer, you have to copy this part or this link. So you have to copy that. Then you come here, you run git. First of all, let's see if we have git installed on this. Yeah, we have git. If you can't get git, that's that version on your computer, that means git is not running. But we have git that's running now. So we can do git clone. Doesn't copy this. So you can do git clone. Yeah, then this directory. So what it will do is that it will, let's run it, we see. So it's telling us that if I use ls again, you see that this thing that we created as clone has come, it's like we've downloaded it into our machine. You see a new folder right here that says that git.class, which is the name of the repository we created the other time. I don't know if you guys remember when we created this. So yeah, so we clone it, git clone, we like download it. For example, now let me go to my other repository, the one that has a lot of stuff. For example, this. For example, let me clone this particular one. If you have a repository like this, you click code, then you see the link here that you have to use. So here, if I run git clone, you see what will happen here. Git clone, then this is the other directory. This is the other repository I created. So if I use this, you know, you see how it's downloading everything because this is a larger file. I have a lot of things in this thing. So if I run ls again, you see I have two folder right now. I have the front end folder, then I have the git class, which is the first one I did. So git clone, you know, basically will allow you to, just like the name, download what you have in your GitHub, the repository you have, download it on your computer, then you can work with it. So now what I want to do now is that I want to move this script. I want to move it inside repository that I just cloned. So I want to move this inside it. And again, if you remember your Linux command to move is mv, what do you want to move? You want to move lo.sh. Where do you want to move it to? You want to move it to git.clash. Let me see, someone is sending a message. It's getting more intense, man. Yeah, so basically this is just saying, okay, move this guy, move it here. Simple. Move it, move this hello script, move it here. So that's what we want, that's what we're trying to do now. So move hello world script, move it inside this, because this is like a folder. This guy gets that we clone, when we clone it, git clone, is something, you guys will work with git clone a lot,
Yeah, Kenneth,
Yeah,
the elo.sh,
yeah.
did you like, I know you said you created one script. Did you write any script inside?
Yeah. I just show you the script I wrote inside now. Hold on. Yeah, let me cancel this. Control C. Yeah, this is the script that's inside it.
Okay, that's how you write the script.
Yeah. That's why I write it. It's just a small script, and I don't know, for some reason it's not. Some of the commands seems not to be. I don't know. Maybe it's the syntax or whatever.
But I can still follow.
Yeah. You
I can
can.
do
I
all
mean,
this without the script, right?
yeah, you can create any file. Matter of fact, you can just create any file, write anything there. The main thing is, we just want to push that file to the GitHub. We want,
Okay.
that's what we are trying to do here. So I was thinking I will write a better script, and maybe next class then I will show you. So now this is the script we have. I mean, this could be any file. It doesn't matter. So but now I want to move it into this folder, and this folder, you remember that we clone it from our GitHub. So the command again, let me see. Okay, mv, that's move. What do you want to move? Lo. Then where do you want to move it to? I want to move it to this folder. So if I hit enter now, if I hit ls again, you see that this is gone. The hello script has been moved inside this. If I use ls git, that's, I want to list the content of this, you see that this guy is there. Or I can go to cd git. So I move into git folder now. You guys remember in cd, of course, right? So if I use ls from here, you see the hello script. So but now you remember this is from GitHub. We didn't create this one manually. We didn't create this folder manually. We use git clone, to get it. So it's still connected with our GitHub repository. So what we're going to do now is that we run the first command, git add dot. So git add dot, we kind of like add that file, because we have a new file now. The aim is that we want to take this file, we want it to be inside this repository. Again, this repository is empty right now. Let me show you once again. It's empty, there's nothing there. Forget all these things. These are just like instruction on how you can work with it. It's empty now, but by the time we finish this demo, we should be able to see hello.sh right in this GitHub, and that's the aim. So you first run git add, then dot. Remember the dot after it, it's very important. I mean, you can write git add hello, whatever, but in most cases you use dot. Dot just means that add everything in the current directory. Dot is like, current directory where you are working currently, everything you are there. If I have like 10 different files, if I run the command git add dot, it will add everything. So git add dot is, you going to use it a lot. Again, another thing you can check is git status. From this point, git status, it will tell you that no commit yet, and that's the next thing we are going to do. So git add is just kind of like add it. They call it in the staging environment. To be honest, I don't really know deep on where the hard where git add is putting the file into, but they say that it will put it in like a staging environment or whatever. But the next one you run after that is git commit, which is very important too. You have to run all these stages: git add, git commit, in that order. You can't run git commit first. It will tell you that you need to add. You need to do git add first. So if you run git commit like this, -m just mean the message that you want to pass. So you can pass any message inside the quotes. First commit is what I used to like. For example, now what happens is that a developer making changes on this thing, once it's done, editing the code and everything. So the first thing it will do the git add, it will do the git commit. Then sorry, my first commit, I think there's a typo there. So it will do the git commit, then it will put the name. So inside git commit, it will like specify, like put the name or describe what it actually changed. It can put like, okay, updating. It can say git commit updating. This thing is very optional. You can write anything there, but it should be very descriptive of what you are trying to do, what change you are trying to do. Updating new script. You can put it there or whatever, or stuff like that. But git commit -m, this syntax. I'm going to send you guys all this command, but they are very, very important, very important. You'll be doing it one like heavily. So git commit, doing that now, it's giving me some message, your name, email, or configure, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, please check for the accuracy. So there's a way you can add your email and this thing. So but I believe our this thing is, after doing this, you may fix the identity. It's coming, git commit, committer. Yeah. Okay, let me check git status again. I want to know if this thing has been committed. Okay, yeah, I think it's committed. So the next thing you run at this point is git push, and then origin, git push origin main. Okay, let's use origin master. So it will ask for my GitHub username, and it will ask for my password, which I'm not going to share with you guys. So now what it's doing now, once you run this git push origin master, which is the last command you run to put it into the GitHub. So we ask for your username, your password. If we go to our GitHub now, let's refresh this and see if this script is there. So you see the script is right there now, and this is the commit message I put there. That say it's very important you put a commit, you put a message in the git commit. When I put updating new script, everything is on my GitHub right now. This is the script right there. If I click on it, it will show you the content and everything. So another developer can come here and like, okay, it will just clone this. Another developer can, okay, matter of fact, let me show. Can you guys see my item now? I don't know. Let me see. Okay. Can you guys see? I don't know if I share this item because I'm not sharing everything. Let me see. But let me go to my terminal and see. But you guys, can you see my terminal?
You cannot share your screen.
You can't see my terminal.
Yeah, I can see your terminal.
Okay, the one that says AWS, this thing, the terminal that I just opened now. Can you guys see it?
Yeah,
Because,
yeah, I can see.
Yeah, I'm trying to clone this thing now, So now we have this thing, we push, we have the script that we just generated, we push it, we make this thing. Okay, let's say we are trying to make a change, ls, we have the script here again, let's say we are making a change on this script, again, this script is the same thing as the one we have right here. It's the same thing, the same script, everything. So we push it, we have it on the EC2 before we push it. So let's say we want to make a change on this thing. Again, I use my Vim to edit this file, just for us to get familiar with this. Let's say I want to add which command can I even add? Let me see. Let me add pwd or something. I just want to add another command. I make a change on this code basically. So I'm exiting right here. I'm clearing my screen. If I cut it now, again, you see this code now is different from the one we have here. We make a change locally. We need to update it on the GitHub. We need to like push it back to GitHub. So now what I will do is that I will do git add again, git add dot. I will do git commit again, -m. Then I will give a message that adding neon line to script or whatever, anything, any message that is descriptive enough, git commit, I'm doing the process again, the one I did the other time. Then I will do git push. Git push will now push it to remote, will now push it to GitHub. So just check, this is what we have currently now. You see it's different. What I did, I removed this clear, so once I push it, you will see the change will reflect here, and you will see the commit. So git push origin master. So git push origin master. So basically what this is just telling me is that git then push. Origin just means that, okay, push it into master branch. You see this master you are seeing here, because in some cases you can create another master, another branch. You can call it maybe new branch. Again, branch is kind of a bit advanced, so I don't really want to bother you guys about branching. So it's telling create from. So if you have a new branch, when you are running this git push here, you now have to specify the branch you are trying to push the changes to. But now again, we're just working on master branch. Don't really bother yourself about branching strategy for now. So git push origin master, again, it will prompt me for this thing. There's a way I can skip this so that I don't have to do it every time, but just try and remember your. So you see it's updating it now. It's showing me that, as you can see this line, it's telling me that the change is pushed to the master. So if I come here, come to this thing, refresh it. Let me refresh this thing. The new change should be there. This is the change I just made. It shows that I changed this thing to pwd. So it changed the code, and it tells me that this is the new commit that I just made, adding new line to script. If there's other developer that do this, that work on this, it will update it. It will show what they change and, everything. So, I mean, basically that is just, so, okay, let me just do something now. So I'm going to clone this in another environment now. So let me just copy the link for the distance. Let me go to my terminal, my real Mac terminal. Let me see how I can make this a little bit bigger. Okay. I'm just trying to, so that can you guys see my terminal now? Yeah, so so now, where am I? Okay. So let me just use git clone, because I have git install on my computer. This is my computer, my local computer, not on EC2. So I want to clone the repository, and you see what will happen now. So if I clone it now, you see that it downloaded the file, it downloaded the folder. If I use ls again, you will see here, you will see this git class that's downloaded again, which is git clone. That's the work of git clone, basically. So it will make the change, it will like, clone that repository. So if I cd into that now, cd into git class again, run ls, you see the file that will push, everything. This is my computer now, not even on EC2, So, if I give you this link, if I put this link on in the, what's it called? For example, we are working together now, I can give this link and send it in the comment section. You guys can run git clone, then use this link, on any environment you are working on, then you see, let me try. Okay, so this is because it's a public repository, so anyone can clone it, and they will have full access to it. If anyone copy this link now and just run git clone, it will download that particular folder, with all the code that are there. Again, we only have one code here. In some cases you can have a lot of code. So that's just like high level. When we start doing more on application, we're going to put our git integrated with Jenkins and other stuff. So but for now it's just the basic, the basic command. The main thing you have to know is the git add, the git add dot, git commit. Let me write them, although I will still send it and to you guys, but git add, you have to enter it, then dot, space dot. Yeah, if it's private, yeah, you can't access it. If it's private, git commit, you have to enter this thing. For me, I mean, I've used this a lot of time. That's why I know it often. It's not like something you just have to bother yourself too much about. You can always look it up everywhere, any message. You can always look it up anywhere. If okay, how do you do git commit? Before you get used to it, especially, and please, everything is lowercase. The git is lowercase. Git push origin master. So so this three command is very, very key, guys. The git add, we had it. The commit, we allow you to put the message you are trying to commit. Then the git push origin master, we take it all the way to the to your GitHub account. And again, you see that file right here, the hello.sa. Anyone can clone it. You can clone it, make changes there, but you can't push it back to my GitHub, because unless I give you access to do that, you can't do that. But you can download it. For example, some code I just like kind of steal it, like all this code you see. I didn't write many of them, like all these ones. I clone it from somewhere, put it on my computer, and make changes on it, and that's it. Most of all these things I didn't write most of them. So I clone it from a GitHub account, put it on my this thing. Another this thing they use is yeah, so when you do the cloning, and so it's I mean, this is just high level, right? So basically you work with repository, different repository. Again, for example, if we make, because you can even make a change directly from this GitHub directly. If you click on edit here, let me show you echo. Let me just say another test. Let me just put this there. I make changes on the GitHub. I didn't make changes on the EC2 I make. So it's asking me to do comments. I can leave it blank or whatever. So I just do this. So now I added another line, but the one I have here doesn't have that, right? The one I have here, if I cut it, it doesn't have that. It's still. So that's where git pull come in. Let me run git pull and you see what will happen. Git pull. So let me cut it again and you see the content. So you see now, after I run git pull updated it. If you see this blue plus one plus, git pull is just trying to tell me that there's a new line added to the script. So when I do git pull, it's kind of like updated the code for me, because someone, maybe a developer, has gone to make changes on the original code. So for you to get the latest one, you have to use the git pull. So git pull will kind of like refresh your memory, updates what you have locally. And again, if I go to my normal terminal, if I run ls, if I cut this now, I still have the old this thing. If I run git pull here again, it should update this script to the latest one, the one that is there, which is echo another test. So if I run git pull, again, you see it's telling me that there's a new line added to the original one, and again, if I run cat hello, so it's updated now. I have the latest code. So, these are some of the, basic, Git this thing. I'm sure, a lot of you would think that this is too much or whatever. Yeah, again, you get used to it over time, with time, basically, just have a repository, and we'll be working with this repository throughout, we'll be adding new code to this repository, we'll be pushing it right here. You see, next class, we're going to work on Maven, we're going to have like a Java application that we kind of like get somewhere, then we have to push it to this GitHub, then I will show you how Maven work and other stuff, before we go to like Jenkins and they do continuous integration. So
So please, is it the code you will be writing in, or this has nothing to do with code? What you
no,
are
no,
doing
no, it doesn't have anything to do with code. It's just
with positioning?
exactly, yeah, provision, and the code. This is where they stay.
Okay.
GitHub is where they stay, and yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any extra material, maybe probably that you use that to study for you to get this right? Because, and is it basically what you just writing? Is it what it's all about? Does git dot?
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
it, is that
Git,
like,
yeah,
does it
no,
have like exact word, like, okay, this is 5 words that's involving in repositioning, so we can master it, or it involves different words? You can use anything. Is diverse? Is it diverse
yeah,
also?
you mean the command. Actually, the
Yeah.
one we will use in this class, mostly the one I put in that command, the git add, the git commit, the git push, or
Yeah.
probably sometimes git, those are the 4 common one that you will use. Git clone too, clone is very key. Those are the, main ones that we'll be using in the class. And again, this is just the first class on Git. We are still working on Git like throughout the class. Most of our work will be exactly most of the things we'll be doing, because this Git, we need to integrate it with like Jenkins to do things, we still have to, we're still going to work on it extensively. So, this is just like, the introduction kind of, so that when we get into deeper into it, I think you get better picture of, what it does and stuff. But basically, the thing is, it's that's where they store the code. It allows people to collaborate together, to to the developer to collaborate, to share their code. You can have different code there, understand what a repository is, which we just did by clicking this new repository. You can create as much as repository as possible. Then we are inside the repository now. As you can see on the top here, it's telling me that I'm inside this repository, which is good. The repository is just like a folder, depending on the project you are working on, you can name it anything, you can name it anything. So, and there, all the code will be there. Real GitHub account, you see a lot of stuff inside this. Some folder will be there, a lot of things, So again, the main command we'll be using are the git clone, which is very important. You have to clone repository, for you to start working on it. Again, cloning is just like you download it. You see, when we clone this repository, we see that folder right on our computer. You can run it on your Windows, you will see it. You see although you have to install Git on your Windows and find out how to do that. So, but if you run git clone and you put this link there, this link right there, you put it there, it will download this folder to your computer right in front of you. You go to download or desktop, you will see it. You see all the code there. Then you can click on any code you want to do, make changes or anything, then push it back to where it is. Then it will update. So that's just the summary of the whole thing we are doing right here with all this. This just the you know this is just the repository that we clone, this particular one, git, and we got it by using git clone. So git clone give us access to it, then we can cd into it, you know and do anything we want to do. We can edit the file, this is just a single file and a simple script. It could be anything. It could be, it could be no, sorry. It could be a touch, hello.txt. It could be a text file. It could be a document file. It doesn't matter, because we are just using script here. It doesn't matter. If I use git add here, just watch git add, git push, git commit minus m, adding test file. So test file, then git push, origin master. Oh, sorry, I think there's a typo there. Git push. Yeah, so if I do this now, you see the new test file I just created. It will appear on the remote repository. So basically, that's just what we are doing. If I refresh this now, you see the test, this new file that I just created. I push it. It's as simple as that. Although there's nothing there, it doesn't have any content. I don't put anything there. But you can clone it now, and you see all this thing on your computer. It's it's nothing. Yeah, it could be anything. It could be any file. It could be any code or whatever. It works the same way. Just make sure you have this thing, and we are inside the git clash. We are inside that repository right here, git.clash dash clash, which is the same thing as what you are saying there, which is the same thing as this. We are inside that folder. So anything you add there, you can add it, push it there, push it there, push it there, and yeah. I will send you some of the common command. Again, if you want to go deeper, you can check on like YouTube and see this thing. But again, it's you don't really need to stress yourself too much on, because Git can be broad too, depending on what you are using. You just need to know the basic you need for maybe interview, for some small job and stuff, because Git is very key, like very important. It's very important. You can't really escape it. Don't, for those commands are not really, I've been using it for more than a year, so that's why it's easier for me. It's not like I was born with it, or so
Yeah, I understand the whole concept. The only thing is just getting used to the command.
Exactly, yeah. If you understand the concept, trust me, you are good. If you are stuck anywhere, okay, how do you use git add? How do you add this thing? You can, again, I will send some of this thing to you, but once you understand the concept,
when you cloned that repository, the details in your repository on your item, that's you are copying it to your iMac, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So
to my MacBook, to my computer, yeah.
So you can just use normal Windows CLI too.
Exactly. Matter of fact, if you have what's it called? If you have Git Bash is easier to just learn Git Bash. Use Git clone. With that my repository and see what happens.
Okay, so basically that what we did now, we can use Git Bash instead of connecting.
Yeah. You can use Git Bash. Yeah, you can use Git Bash, and you can edit the code and put it back. If you run Git Bash already come with Git, so you don't need to install it. It makes it easier. So if you run Git clone, you can run any Git command. That's why if you just go to your Windows terminal and press Git, it will give you error that I don't know this command you are entering, because Git is not installed. But if you are within Git Bash and Git Bash is linked to your computer, you do Git clone, you see this folder right on your computer.
So what of this Ubuntu downloaded? Can we do Git Bash?
Yeah, I don't know if Git is installed on it actually. Okay. You may have to do it manually by maybe using apt install Git or stuff like that. Okay. Yeah, you may have to install it, on it has to, you can run it and see Git. If it gives you error, that something is going on, or just run Git dash version, So if you say anything, if we bring something like this, know that there's Git, then you can run it there. Any environment, yeah. Windows, you may need to go on internet and say how to download Git on Windows. But with Git Bash, it's connected with your computer directly.
Oh, so I can just
yeah,
copy
you can
like
run it. Then you will see the folder physically. You see this
Okay.
folder with the 2 files, everything there. So Git clone, we just the name, clone it, bring it to your, then you can make changes. Then you do the Git add, Git push, whatever you are doing. So, but yeah, that's any question, guys? I know there's a lot of questions. You guys are just like, what is this?
It's kind of confusing.
No, we are getting into more deeper stuff,
Yeah, because
and
I think we still need more explanation on it. I don't know if I'm the only one or others to feel the same.
Yeah,
Because though I understand some like principle, they like when repositioning, when you go to online, you want to reposition some like code and just like enter.
yeah, I mean, we can connect maybe sometimes this thing tomorrow, or this thing. We can have a session, and I can see how we can walk through it. Main thing, no, I believe you know how to provision your EC2 and stuff like that right now. That's very important. Then, have a GitHub account, create a repository, play around with it, clone your repository, do stuff inside it, and it's not that hard actually. If you are working in team where a lot of people are using the same, that's when it even gets more confusing, more like a bit messy. This one trying to push this one trying to, but it's very important. The CI/CD concept. GitHub is one of the main thing there, because that's where they put the code. And then they have to like push it back to the GitHub.
So sorry, Ken, what we just did now is creating repository using GitHub, right?
Yes. Creating
Okay,
repository in GitHub.
using GitHub, and which one? And
Yeah, that's it. We create a repository, which is this guy. You come here, new repository, create the repository, give it a name of your choice, and I show all the repository I have on my GitHub account. This is my GitHub account, but this is inside the repository. The repository is just like you are creating a folder, that you want to depend, then you name it. So because you can have a lot of them, like I said, look at my own, I have so many of them depending on different name, different name. These are repository, all of them, each of them are repository. So, you create it, give it a name, then you clone it. Cloning it is like bringing it to your, you can clone it on your computer or maybe on EC2 like we did, this guy here, we clone it here. That's why we can work with it. You have to clone it first, then, you CD into that, you go into that folder. Once you clone it, it's like you download that folder, you download the old folder, this, if there's anything there, everything will be included in that thing you download. So it's like downloading. Clone is, Git clone is like download, or maybe, I don't know, copy, get a copy of that. So, and yeah, it's very, so once you do that, you can do anything, maybe you're not familiar with the Linux stuff we are doing, here we're just creating a folder, same thing as doing it on your Windows computer, right click, create a file, then move it inside this folder. That's what we did. We first created the file, or you can just CD into that and create the file inside it, or and just do anything, just yeah. But yeah, I think, yeah, just create that, create, see if you can create a repository, then we can take it like that. We can connect maybe tomorrow, sometimes tomorrow, and walk over it.
Okay. So the main function of this GitHub is just for repository, right?
Yeah, repository. Yep,
Then
repository. Mm.
okay, then you talked about this permission because I assessed everything from here, but I was trying to update, so I found out that I will need your password and all. So
Oh, okay.
how is it, how do you give permission to other people?
Yeah. To give permission to other people, what I will have to do, I will go to security. Is this settings or security? Let me see. Yeah, manage access. Let me check. I said I should pop. Confirm access. Okay. Let me see. Do I need to do anything on my? I'm trying to see if I can give you access. But normally, if you are working on your main, if you are working on your own directly, it's because you are working on my own. That's why you. Okay. You recently used the bundle. Yeah, it's because you using my distance. So if you are using your own, you don't have to push something back to my repository. You understand? Unless if we are working together, but I don't know why it doesn't
Okay,
accept my.
okay.
Let me see.
Let's assume maybe in an organization and you guys are working
Yeah,
in a
okay.
in a particular place. So how do you guys access the main?
Yeah,
repository?
that's what I'm trying to do now. Yeah, so I can log in now. So if you go to settings, you go to manage access, then you invite a collaborator, then you provide the name. What's your email? Then they will send a link to you. You confirm it, and that will give you access to that central GitHub that everybody is using. Because in
Oh, okay.
organization, it's not like everyone everyone will be working on their GitHub account. No, it will be centralized, but there must be permission to it, before anybody can push. Even though my own is public now, you can only clone it and view things there. You can't push anything to my GitHub, unless I had you as a collaborator here, put your email. So if I put your email here now, they will send you a link, and you confirm, and then you'll be added in the link.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so yeah, exactly. And that's how it works in like organization level. So I don't really want to confuse you guys with that, because but it's good that it's a good question that you asked, because in organization, actually that's how it works. It's not like you'll be working on your separate GitHub account. It's a but maybe it's a team leader that will do this for you guys. It's a team lead that will do this, and just ask that, okay, what is, but this is the way to do it actually. Just invite, just come to, this is where we were before. Just come to settings, then go to manage access, and then invite a collaborator. Then you put the email address of the person, or I think you can put even the username. In my own Kenku 23. So it's like I'm inviting myself. So yeah, so but yeah, so but basically that is how you invite people, to collaborate on the project. And so the person can make changes there, push it back. You can do that too. Everyone can, yeah. So but yeah, that's that aspect. And that's a good question too. But yeah, we're just working on a personal distance. I want you guys to just be familiar with that. And for now, because yeah, and will be the project will be even be individual that will be working on. We have to install Jenkins. We have to put this with Jenkins. We have to make code change on GitHub. Then you see Jenkins will trigger. We run everything. So yeah, when we get there. But for now, just get the concept. I think that's what is important for you guys. Understand the concept. And um, any other question? Git is very simple. It could be complicated though. But, mm, Any other questions, sir? Your might, anybody?
For now, I just think I just need to like
Yeah.
just know the command.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, the command is very important,